right, Coach, you can start your opening statement on the night.
Well, I mean, just a great effort. I thought one of the best things about the win tonight was how many guys, just came off the bench and played so well. And I think that's just a tribute to the kind of kids that we have and the fact that they're waiting their turn over there, and, a guy like Elijah and Jalen, they're both really, really good players. And tonight, it was their turn. They came in there and played so well. But I think the biggest thing I take from tonight is, we all know what this game means to everyone, right? But I was just really pleased with how we played. I thought that we showed how much better we're getting as a team. I think there's probably a lot of people out there that were like, man, those games against the D2 were probably too close. And then just to see, how much better we get each game, and even in practice defensively, I thought tonight looked like, a New Mexico State Jason Hooten defense tonight. Those guys flew around. They played really, really tough. And then the last bit of my statement is, I think Preston just did an amazing job on his scouting report tonight. I thought he had these guys really pegged, and he did a tremendous job of getting the information across to our kids. And, our staff just did an amazing job.
Coach, these last two games, you played with a little bit of smaller lineups with both Chris Terrell and Elijah Elliott. Why have you gone to that, and what have you liked out of the production of those two, especially Elliott tonight?
They both bring a lot of energy. They're both really good on-the-ball defenders. But, I think right now, as a coach, I'm still trying to figure out our rotation. And, tonight I had a really good gut about Elijah, and I stuck him in there, and he hit 2 threes right off the bat. He played about 6 straight minutes, got tired, I took him out. But, at the end of the game, when we went to finish at the end, I put him back in there. And I think a couple of my assistants were like, are you sure? Because he's just not played a lot yet, and he's still trying to get, his bearings and get his feet up underneath him. But just had a good gut, man, that he was going to drive us home, and he did. He went and got that ball strong 2 times, got fouled, and went to the free throw line. He made 6 out of 8, and that's what it takes. That's winning basketball. When you have a lead and you get the ball in bounds, you go get the ball, you're strong with the ball, you get to the free throw line and you make them. And, I thought he played great tonight, But to me, I know this wasn't part of your question, but to me, I thought the MVP of the game tonight was Augustine. He's a freshman. I know he only got 2 points, but he got 7 rebounds, and he was so active and athletic in there. He makes it difficult now. This is the most length and athleticism that I've ever coached. I've never had this kind of length and athleticism, and so I'm still learning what to do with some of these guys too, and how we need to play. And it's been a lot of fun. It's been a huge challenge. There's no question this has been probably one of the greatest challenges besides my first year here. It's been one of my greatest challenges as a coach to try to get everybody on the same page, 11 new guys, but also try to figure out how to use everybody too.
And then on that challenge, 3 years ago, you came to a program that needed a rebuild, that needed a new identity. What did these rivalry games and these wins for you guys do for that process for you?
Well, I'm a competitor, and I know we're 2-2 against them now in my tenure here, and I still just think about the game that we gave away, my first year here, and we would be 3-1 against them, and that's just kind of how I'm built. But look, we all know what these games are like. This game to me, I'm from Texas. This is Texas and Texas A&M. This means a lot to a lot of people. We know that. And I told our guys, but I only talked about it once. We talked about it on Tuesday night after the game. I gave them a small speech about this game and what it means to everybody. But after that, we're coaching a basketball team. We're not just trying to win one more game. We're trying to win 27 more games or however many we can play. So good game, but at the same time, when you've been coaching as long as I have, I'm already thinking about Sanford next Friday night.
First half, it wasn't a great shooting first half for you guys, but defense led you guys to maintain a lead and keep the tie going in the half. Just first half defensively, what'd you like to see there?
Well, that's how I was raised. There's going to be nights when you don't make your shots, but you always got to play defense. And I thought our defense tonight in the first half kept us tied or kept us in the game. I really felt like there were a lot of shots in the first half that went in and out, and I just thought we were going to shoot it better in the second half, and thank the Lord we did. We ended up with 10 threes. This team needs to average about 10 threes a game because I think that'll be a strength of ours. So I thought our defense for 40 minutes, You know, there was a couple stretches there where we gave them a couple of open threes, but you know, against a really, really well coached, talented offensive team, I thought our defense tonight was fantastic.
Yeah. And in the second half, you guys did shoot better, 48% from the field in the second half. What changed after halftime offensively that allowed you?
You know, obviously Jamel's not going to go a whole game without scoring, and I was so proud of him though because he kept his composure. You know, we took him out one time and just talked to him a little bit about not pressing and not trying to do too much. That's a tough game for him. He played against that coach last year, and they know him very well, and I knew that they would come after him. And but you have to give Jamel credit. You know, within the offense, he was very patient, and in the second half, it opened up for him, and I thought there was a good stretch there where he put us on his back, which I think he's very capable of doing. And but, you know, talking about Jamel, man, the most thing I'm proud of with Jamel is how hard he's competing defensively. You know, I thought there wasn't a time where I looked out there tonight and I thought, you know, man, he's not doing what he needs to defensively and people are attacking him. But I thought he did a tremendous job.
3 steals.
Yeah.
Anthony also was a big part of that shooting second half. Most of his shots were threes. He made 4 of them. Likes those corner threes too as well. Just what did you see from Anthony, especially from long range, to help you guys get those 10 threes?
Well, Anthony's a winner. I mean, he's a tough kid, you know. Obviously, we have a relationship that dates back to 2022, so we've been together for 3 years now. I mean, I tried to bring Anthony with me when I got this job, and he stayed one more year there. And then this year, you know, it just worked out. He made a phone call. It was like a 7 a.m. Sunday morning, fixing to get up and go to church, and he reached out to me. He was up in Canada playing at McMaster's, and just said, "Coach, I've never been more miserable in my life. Would you take me?" And, you know, I knew that he's a culture guy. We needed that in our program. So he set out the rest of last year, and, you know, he's just a winner.
Coach, I know you said rebounding was one aspect you wanted to improve on from the previous game. Just what did you think about your guys' rebounding performance, especially in those last few minutes of the game? I think you guys were down like by 3 in the rebounding battle and ended up being down by 1. Just your thoughts on how you guys played the boards tonight.
We definitely reached one of our goals, which was trying to get 12 or more offensive rebounds, and we got 12. I'm still not overly pleased with our defensive rebounding. We have to get better at that. And there were a couple of stretches there with about 2 or 3 minutes to go where I know on one was a free throw block out. We missed it. They got it. They kicked it out. And they made it 3. Like we got to clean that up and we got to get better. This team, I've told them, and I'll continue to preach and tell them, but this team can be an elite defensive rebounding team because of our length and our athleticism and our toughness. But we have to get better. We got to improve in that area. And you know, number 10 for them he's a tough kid. He averages 10 rebounds a game, and he's a hard guy to get off. You know, he had 13 tonight, so he's a hard guy to keep off the glass. And I just thought it was a great challenge for Augustine as a freshman, and obviously Sear to play against a guy like that. I mean, he's like 23 years old, and he's been playing pro ball overseas for a long time. And you know, he's a freshman, but he only has 1 year of eligibility left. So you know where he's coming from and how good of a player he is. And that was a great test for those guys tonight. I thought they held their composure pretty well.
This is, of course, a rivalry that used to be played twice a season until very, very recently. The crowd was great. They were into it tonight. I've asked Amber and Joe in the past about if they had interest in doing it. They both have expressed interest in returning to 2 games a season. Is that something that you want as well, and something that you want to see New Mexico come to Pan Am every single year and go to Albuquerque every single year?
Well, I think I've already made a comment on this, and my comment is you know, we got a really good athletic director that's going to make really good decisions, and if he feels like this is something that we need to do twice, then I'm going to be all on board with whatever he wants to do. And I think that New Mexico feels the same way about their athletic director and his decision making as well. So, you know, it's fun, it's exciting. I think from a coach's standpoint, you know, it's pretty draining. It's tough to play them,
non-con twice, yeah.
You know, if you had to turn around and play each other again next Saturday, that'd be a tough game to play. But look, I mean, there's also not anybody in the country that plays each other twice as a rival, so that's another reason why we didn't do it. And it was something Coach Patino didn't, you know, we both agreed not to do it. And, you know, I'm good with whatever the higher-ups. Man, we just try to get our team ready to play, and it was exciting. It was an exciting game. And how about our crowd? Like,
it's great.
Just an amazing atmosphere for kids to be able to play in. And my goal is, you know, is still going to be, I'd like it for it to look like that every night like it used to. And, you know, I don't care what anybody says, but that crowd had a lot to do with that victory tonight. That student section was magnificent, man. That thing was packed out, and they were in the game. And, you know, we just really appreciated it. We really did, and I think our guys, I know they appreciated it, but I also think that our play had a lot to do with it.
And then, Coach, earlier you mentioned the composure. The last 6 minutes of the game, it was kind of a lot of really tough whistles that were getting them back in the game. How were you able to maintain the composure of your team and keep them fighting and keep them from closing that gap?
Well, I mean, I've been coaching a long time. So this is my 16th year as a head coach and 33 years overall in college basketball. And it never gets any easier. I mean, your emotions are rolling high too, but you just got to, you know, you got to listen to your staff. You got to be under control. And but I was proud of our guys because I thought, you know, hard to hear, but I thought our guys did a good job of huddling up and really understanding what we were looking for, what we're trying to get done and accomplished. And you know, it's easy to throw that ball away in those segments there. It's easy to give up easy shots. I mean, even there at the end when they were trying to get a 3 off, they couldn't even get it off. And I was really proud. We haven't worked a lot on those situations just because it's hard to, you know, to simulate that in practice. Man, it's different. You know, we put a minute 37 on the clock or 2:10 and hey, you play in practice. It's nothing like that was right there. So those kind of games will make your team better, and they'll get you prepared for when you're going to have another one of those moments. Because listen, let's be honest with each other. Conference USA is no joke. And those games, most of those games are going to come down to the end, just like that one did. And so you got to be able to win your fair share of those games. And I think being able to, you know, execute under pressure and understand how many timeouts we have left, and you know who needs to throw the ball in, and you know I think our guys did a great job of that.
And then my last question, coming all the way from Albuquerque, there's a small following. This is bigger than just Las Cruces. How do you feel, what message would you like to say for all your fans in the whole state?
I know this, man, this is my 3rd year here, my 3rd season, and I've just never been anywhere where people have more pride about their state and their schools. You know, and I'm speaking for both universities at this time. Like, it's just really fun and amazing to see, you know, I mean, it was interesting. Last year I told a lot of people this story, but you know, we won over there in a really crazy game, and I got on the bus and I was checking out email, and I got an email from someone that had just lost their father, and they talked about how much joy that in a time of need for joy, how much it brought to their family, you know, a victory like that. And I mean, I think, you know, we were driving home, everybody's excited, but I think that really sunk into me just to really tell you how much this, you know, how much this means to everyone. And there's always bragging rights for sure, but again, just happy for our guys. I'm happy for our university and our community and the people that are Aggies in the state. But I'm really pleased. My pleasure tonight came from just watching our guys play well. I thought we played well tonight, but I also know, man, there's just so much room for improvement with this team.
We good? All right. Thank you, Coach.
Well, obviously it's a big win tonight, rivalry game. Both you guys are out. What does it feel like winning games like this?
Right here? Oh, you can just leave it
Yeah,
there.
you can just.
Oh, we can leave it there?
Yeah, all I gotta do is sit there. And,
I mean, it feels good. We kind of talked about it before the game. You know, it feels a little weird because of the transfer portal. So, you know, like it feels more like a rivalry to the people of Las Cruces and Albuquerque than us. But I feel like kind of when you get in the building, you kind of understand what it is. And as the game goes on, and yeah, this one's for the city for sure. You know, I feel excited. The fans showed out, so I feel like that was for them and all the support they show us throughout the year.
Jamel, the first half didn't go your way, missed 5 shots, didn't have any points, but the second half you really picked it up and started hitting shots, hitting threes. What changed in the second half coming out of halftime?
What changed in the second half, man? I knew I had to be a little bit more aggressive. I knew I couldn't go the whole game without scoring. And I told the guys in the huddle before we started the game, tonight's going to be anybody's night. I knew how heavy I was on their scouting report and how heavy they was going to be in the gaps on me. Had emphasis on me not touching the middle of the paint. So I just knew that somebody else was going to have to step up, but I was still going to have to do my part.
Yeah. And Anthony, the first half you guys didn't really shoot the ball well, just only 33%, but second half it was 48%. So just overall as a team, you know, what kind of adjustments do you feel like you guys made at a halftime to shoot well?
I honestly feel like it was a whole week kind of thing leading up to the game. We definitely made a big emphasis on how hard they help in the paint and that we haven't been shooting enough threes and making enough threes in the games. So we knew it was going to go in. We know we got great shooters. We know everyone on the team can shoot. So it was honestly just sticking to the game plan. And if you drive and you see someone help, just kick the ball out. And we just kept shooting. And then, yeah, ball started going in.
Yeah. You and Jamel seem to be a big fan of threes. You combined for 18 tonight. You like those corner threes, Anthony.
Yes,
I saw you
sir.
shoot a lot from there. It's just
Yeah.
tell me about that. Is that your favorite spot to shoot a three? Or
Yeah, that's just where, that's where I am in the offense, and I just do what I do best, and I shoot the ball. And I just told Jamel, I'm like, just get downhill. And I told him in the first half, I said, they're really going to help on you in the first half. And then when we start making threes, they're either going to have to choose the three or you shooting the pull-up. So then obviously it opened up a lot for him in the second half. So it's just being a team and doing what works.
Yeah. Jason Hooten came in and kind of talked a little bit about your story and how you came in and things like that. And you said that, you called him on a Sunday, you told him you weren't really doing well in Canada and that you wanted to come here and play for him again. So just tell me about your arrival in New Mexico State. What made you come here in that process?
Yeah, big shout out to Coach Hooten for sure, because I feel like he brought me to his team at my lowest in my life. I mean, I was damn near close to quitting basketball when I was back home, and I gave him a call and he brought me back to his program. And I mean, that's kind of how God works. I was at my lowest, and then he brought me to my highest I've ever been in my life, with the fans, with the community, with everyone. So I just want to shout out Coach Hooten for always believing me and trusting me.
Jamel, we spoke to Hooten right now, and obviously, impressed with your scoring, but he also mentioned your defensive play. Just what did you think about your defensive play and then just the teams in general tonight?
I think I played pretty solid on defensive end. I knew that I wasn't having the best offensive night in the first half, so I knew that I had to emphasize that on the defensive end, so I could, you got to pick up something else when something else ain't working, you know what I mean? So I just had to emphasize that on defense.
For being just, both of you guys, we were talking about transfer portal. It seemed like you guys have been playing together for a lot longer than just this short amount of time. Can you talk about the journey of just how you guys got here and as a team and how you had each other's back tonight?
Yeah, so I could say I've transferred a couple times, but this is the closest that I've been with a group of guys, just everybody bought in, a couple guys accepting their roles and just bonding on and off the court. This is definitely the closest that I've been with this group here.
And I mean, there was a lot of tough whistles coming down the end. I could see the frustration. We could all see how intense it was, but you managed to contain your composure. Can you guys also talk a little bit about that final stretch when it was getting close and heated, but you were able to pull out this incredible win?
Yeah, I think that's where leadership just comes in, and I think that's where, every time you guys see us huddle, I mean, we don't just, we don't do it for no reason. So me and Mel just made a big emphasis on staying in the moment and just staying locked in and getting a stop and then scoring the ball. And if it was someone shooting free throws, just make sure they make the free throws, and then getting back on D, talking about our matchups. So just put an emphasis on leadership and making sure we're not too high or too low. That was the biggest point today, is just not getting too high or too low.
Just a final one from me. Just what do you feel like you guys learned about yourselves after today's contest?
I think just like you were saying, like Mel was saying, our brotherhood. I mean, since the first day we got here, we were hanging on and off the court. So I feel like today just really showed. You know what I mean? I mean, Mel obviously scored 0 points in the first half, and not one time was he complaining to us that he's not getting the ball enough, or was he getting mad. He didn't stop playing defense or anything, and he just had belief in us. We had belief in him, and we knew it was a tie game with him scoring our leading scorer having 0 points in the first half. So I think that's what we learned, is that just we have a lot of weapons off the bench, a lot of weapons in the starting lineup, and everyone can go. So I think we learned how deep our team is today.
So good.